Good morning, y'all. It's Lori coming to you through rusticmotif.net, which is my sign and design business and my personal and business blog. And it's been a while since I've blogged, and so this afternoon I wanted to come to you live in the form of a blog and share something with you that is very near and dear to my heart and that I've recently experienced for the first time. And that is pet grief. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it through this short little blog without crying all over everywhere. But it was 2 weeks ago today that I lost my little Gracie. She was my little Aussie, Australian Shepherd Shih Tzu puppy that we had for close to 15 years. And for those of you who knew my little Gracie, you know what a wonderful little girl she was. And for those of you who didn't know her, just know that she was precious and friendly and loved everybody. She loved other dogs. She loved people. She loved rides. She loved visiting people's houses. She loved to play with other dogs until they got on her nerves. Ellie, Buster, you know who I'm talking to. And anyway, she was just precious and very near and dear to my heart. And so this morning I just want to, or this afternoon, I just want to share a little bit and tell you that I understand and that pet grief is real. First of all, I mean, who else loves us like that? They give us unconditional love, they give us friendship, they give us warm kisses and snuggles, and they give us understanding. And you know, there's no other human that can forgive like a puppy can, besides Jesus Christ himself. So, you know, dogs, pets are amazing creatures. And losing my little Gracie just 2 weeks ago, I believe probably to another stroke. She had had 2 strokes previously. Her health was failing rapidly, and I know she didn't want to go to boarding for a long period of time. And you know, Gracie would always get really nervous when we would get the suitcases out and start packing. She knew something was up. She either knew she was going on a long ride, which she absolutely loved. She was a fantastic rider, or she knew that she was going to boarding. And so my little Gracie was starting to get really, really nervous, and I knew something was up with her. She wasn't acting right, feeling right. And so long story short, we were going to go for a ride, and she obviously thought maybe she was going to go to boarding because she had saw some suitcases, and she jumped out of the truck, and I sort of caught her, but not all the way caught her, and she fell on her side, but she plopped right up and ran for the door and wanted in the house. So I put her back in the house, and she was happy to stay home. I didn't want to stress her out anymore. And that evening I gave her her bath, and she was pretty and she smelled good. And before bedtime I would always put her out at night so she could do her business, go potty, and then she'd come in and she'd beg on the back of my heels and follow me all the way into the kitchen to get her treat. And this particular night 2 weeks ago, which was actually the night before we were leaving on a vacation, she didn't want to go outside, and she didn't want to get off at the porch, and she certainly didn't want to go out in the grass. And so I had to lift her up and put her out in the grass, and she froze and couldn't move. And so after me trying to coax her to go potty and so forth, she just froze, and I lifted her back up and brought her back into the house, and obviously knew immediately that something was going on with her. And it wasn't even 30 minutes from that point that she took her last little breath. And I do believe that she had another stroke, or perhaps a heart attack. She would have been 15 in January. But with all of that set aside, I just want to come to you and say, for anybody who's lost a pet, I know your grief is real. It's real, and it sucks, and it hurts. And we've probably all have lost somebody that we've loved, another human being, a family member, a friend, a spouse. Obviously, this is not quite that magnitude, but your heart aches just the same. And I'm going to miss my little Gracie. People who don't have pets, maybe don't care for dogs or animals, may not understand this, but pet grief is real. It's real, and you shouldn't feel bad about that. I have a little bird that just landed out here on the railing. This morning I actually got to thinking about this. I hadn't blogged for a while, and I was doing my yoga, my own made up in living room yoga. When I do that, I tend to really relax, which is what you're supposed to do, and get in deep thought. And it obviously brought me right to my little Gracie and how much I missed her. And it was 2 weeks ago today that I lost her. I still cry every day. I still have my moments. I miss that little girl like nobody's business. She was my best friend that loved me unconditionally. She loved her daddy. She suffered, and she was in mourning when we lost Dick, and she understood people and feelings, and even, I would like to believe, a little bit about life. And she's going to be truly, truly missed. She's not going to be there to greet me when I come home. She's not going to roll over on her back and let me scratch her belly. She's not going to be walking behind me, nipping at my heels for her treats. She's not going to wake me up. She's not going to be a pain in the butt, but she's not going to be in my office underneath my feet, keeping my feet warm with her fur. She's not going to be there for me to talk to when I have nobody else to talk to, because she was a great listener. And for those of you who have pets, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that pets, in my land, in my world, my puppy was everything to me. And so the other thing I wanted to touch base on is how impeccable God's timing is, because we did have a trip planned, and she didn't want to go to boarding. Once she saw those suitcases out, she got nervous, and she didn't want to go to boarding, and I didn't want to put her in boarding. And there was just a part of me that felt that she knew that she was going to go to boarding for a period of time and didn't want to. And that was her way of saying, I've had a good life. I've been loved. I know I'm the only dog that ever lived in the Futch house, but I would like to think she was ready to go see her dad in heaven, and he was waiting there with open arms to greet her. I would like to think that all dogs do go to heaven, because they certainly deserve it. They forgive like no other human could even possibly think of forgiving. But my little Gracie was special, and those who knew her knew she was special too. So if you're suffering the loss of a pet, I just want you to know that I know what you're going through, and it's real, and it sucks. And that those of you who still have your pets, love on them, pet them, rub their bellies, feed them, give them plenty of water, keep them warm, keep them cool. Don't leave them out in the cold weather. Don't leave them out in the hot heat. And treat them like you would want to be treated. And love on them every day, and tell them that you love them, because I'm telling you, they know. They know if you love them. And I'm telling you, they want to love you too, because that's what my little Gracie did for me. She stood by me through thick and thin, the good, the bad, and the sad, and forgave me. And I loved her, and I miss her. And so just take care of your pets, and God bless everybody.